But you don't have to always win pretty in this league, and that's exactly what Cardiff did at Northampton. Were they worthy of 3 points? Welcome back to Where Bluebirds Walk. We've got Eliss and Jamie back with us this week to give their thoughts on another very, very, baffling performance. However, the 3 points in the bag. Colwill injured. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about Willock. His redemption arc continues, and we're looking ahead, of course, to the next couple of fixtures with Chelsea on the horizon. How is the squad looking in terms of injuries? We're up to letter G as well, not A to G, and we're talking about dodgy goalkeepers. So lots to get through. Eliss, did you deserve that?
We won 3-1, so I'm going to say yeah, but. If the shoe was on the other foot, I think I'd feel very hard done by if I was a Northampton fan. They played well. I think they had the most possession in the game. They had more shots than us. But it all boiled down to us being a bit more clinical. And we got the 3 points. We got 3 goals. So, yeah, overall, I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Jamie, your assessment of it? You were there?
Yeah, I agree. Horrible weather. It was a typical sort of... I think conditions played into the way Northampton wanted to play, and we had to weather the storm. Pardon the phrase. They came at us in the second half. If not for Nathan Trott's really, really brilliant save, 1-on-1, it could have been 2-2. And at that time, the momentum was with them. And then we just go and get, it's a great goal from Willock, but it's almost like on the counter that kills the game. And Kevin Nolan mentioned that all their side didn't do was be more clinical. And listen, we've been on the receiving end of where we passed teams off the pitch, and we've created 25 chances in the past and lost. So it does swing in roundabouts, and that's why we love the EFL, isn't it? And and these games are not how you necessarily play; it's how it finishes after 97 minutes.
Yeah, Kabakio with 2 assists, Eliss as well. We need to give him a shout out, don't we?
Yeah, he played really well. And we saw the last part of the game as well. NG came on and he pushed to right wing. And I think he looked really, really good. He didn't look out of place at all. And, we just spoke about the Willock goal. But that Willock goal wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for his tenacity and his determination, running through the middle, getting the ball to Willock. And, yeah, really impressive performance. And I think he's 1 assist behind League One's top assist now in, I think it's Cozier Dubry. That's the one, isn't it? But yeah, another really impressive performance from Capaccio.
Okay, let's talk about the injury then to Rubin. Jamie, how bad does it look? Of all the 11 players you don't want to be out the side, apart from Trott, you would say this is probably going to be the one that's most damaging, isn't it?
Yeah. At first glance, you could see normally he doesn't stay down, and he stayed down. And we're thinking after a good 15-minute period where we looked untouchable, he was everywhere, and I thought, wow, this is great to watch. You could see the instant drop off when he went off in both sort of pace and way we play, the intensity, and just general all-round link-up. And that's not me trying to, compare Rubin Colwill to David Turnbull. They're 2 completely different players. But when we play very, very well is when Rubin Colwill ticks and is able to link up with the likes of Salah and the wingers. And yeah, Ryan Barry Murphy's comments, albeit after the game, seemed quite damning that he was on crutches. And it looks like, I think he said his Achilles or something like that. So, or ligaments, I think it was, sorry. Then they're not quick heals, are they? So yeah, listen, we've got to hope, and as Cardiff fans, that it's not too serious, and there is an attainable recovery time quickly for us. But listen, it's the next player up, isn't it?
You mentioned Willock there, Eliss. Where are we at with him as a fan base now? No, it's a screamer of a goal, but where's on our redemption arc? Is he over it all now, or is he over all the criticism for you?
Yeah, I think more or less. I think he's on top of the hill looking down now.
Okay.
But no, I love Chris Willock, and I think, he's come back from that little injury he's had. He came off the bench and it was an instant impact. I think he's our only out-and-out winger, isn't he? A lot of our players, we got Kellyman, who used to play as a 10, Ashford throughout his youth, careers played as a 10. So, yeah, I think it's a real huge bonus with Willock back. And now we got Tanner back in January. Things are looking good. But, yeah, Willock, I love him. I forgive him for everything. And may it continue.
Okay. On our last one, Jamie, we were talking a little bit about Barry Murphy and some of the criticism that's been coming his way. I mean, no one was calling for him out, although we did see a couple. Have you seen anything in recent games, including the Arsenal perhaps one game as well, where he's maybe starting to think about kind of different approaches and having plan Bs?
Yeah, to an extent. I think he's quite. You can see he probably reads the criticism and understands certain aspects of performances. He'd probably be the first person that tells the players that it's not good enough. He sets his own high standards, and I think yesterday his post-match press conference was, "I'm happy for all the fans who've done a lot of travelling in the last month or so, because we haven't always got the results for them." But I think we all are on the BBM train. It is going to take a few delays at times, pardon the phrase, but there are going to be bumps in the road. But we just expect that kind of the things that we want, the pace, the tempo, the sort of ability to beat your man, and it is frustrating at times, and especially when like yesterday, at times we were kind of stepping off a little bit. But I suppose that's the journey that we're on. We're going to have to get used to it as Cardiff fans, that we're going to enjoy all this possession or periods of dominance. But on the other side of it, we are going to be, physically up against it with certain teams. Like yesterday, I think Callum Chambers said after the game that Northampton have the highest direct passing ratio in the league. So we knew what we were going to get. It was all set up probably to be a horrible game yesterday with the weather. And listen, we've come out of it with 3 points. You can only say positive things from that. And after the Arsenal 21 game, which consisted of all 20, our youngsters, bar Matt Turner, the future is bright at the club with these youngsters. They are playing some very good football, and when they're given the opportunities, the vast majority of players are taking it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a great result, wasn't it? Performance against Arsenal's 21, which you'd expect to be probably right up there, and then Wimbledon, of course, to come in the next round. Brilliant. A couple of little bits and pieces. During the international break, the club have approached Chelsea Eliss to ask if Amari Kellerman can play in the game on the 16th of December. Chelsea have said a flat no. Do you agree with that as a principle, or do you think it's just been a bit petty?
I mean, as much as I would have loved to see Kellyman play, I wasn't expecting him to. I just don't think it's in any of Chelsea's interests, to be honest. Because he could score, he could change the game. He's a quality player, and they know he's a quality player. So, no, I mean, I agree with it. I think if we sent a player out on loan and he scored a winning goal against us in an important game, I think, it's a bit of a fractured relationship, isn't it? But no, I'm not surprised at all, really, as much as I'm gutted.
Okay. Jamie, Rinamoto's been on the without a club for so long, well, since the summer anyway. Reading have finally snapped him up. Are you first of all, are you surprised that first of all he's been without a club for so long, and B, can he still do a job at League One level?
Yeah, definitely. I think he was a more than able deputy in certain positions last year for us. I mean, how many times did we speak about Rinamoto's performances at right back last year?
We did, yeah.
Yeah, and listen, he's gone back to a club that he knows very well, an area he knows very well. So the shoe kind of fits and falls in place there. Andy Rinamoto went through a bit of a tough time towards the back end of last year. Unfortunately, his brother passed away, and sometimes it does take time. Clubs, maybe don't have the finance to sign players straight away. So the free agent market is something you might have to wait your time for. And we've seen that with Joe Ralls recently as well, who has got a short-term contract with Plymouth. That these clubs maybe who desperately need experience, they will come knocking. We saw Neil Warnock in the past do it, isn't he? We've seen players that 1 minute walking the dog and the next minute they're in training at various clubs. So yeah, I mean, all the best to him. Obviously, we've got to play him toward, towards the latter part of the season. And yeah, he's gone to a place that he knows very well, and hopefully he does well for them.
Mansfield then at home this coming Saturday. Eliss, looking at the form table, this should be a 3 points, shouldn't it? They've only won one of the last four.
Yeah, should be, but football doesn't really work that way, does it? And especially in League One. I think Mansfield are above Northampton, and Northampton give us a good go. So, I like Barry Murphy's approach to these games. He doesn't look at where the opponents are on the table, because there are dangerous teams in this league, which the table doesn't show. Their position in the table isn't accurate to their performances a lot of times. So, I agree with you. We should be looking at the 3 points, but we should be looking at the 3 points against every single team in this league, with our aspirations and the expectations we've got. But yeah, I'd like them to treat it like a tough game, like they have done every game.
Are you both surprised at just what's going on at the top of the table at the moment? There's just, none of the top teams, maybe apart from Bolton, are finding any inconsistency at the moment. Bradford haven't won in 6; they're on a terrible run. Lincoln are up and down. Stockport have lost 2 in a row. Stevenage, of course, are wobbling as well. There isn't a single team which is really, capable of putting a good run together. What do you put that down to? And I mean, it's all good for you guys, of course, but it's tough at the top.
It is, and I think we've alluded to it on a number of occasions when Stevenage were top, that we said that they were always going to have their challenges. They aren't the most blessed financially, for example, so they haven't got a bloated squad. And with the congestions of fixtures and things like that and other things, naturally, squads' energies aren't as where maybe in the season earlier on they were. But also, I think you kind of find out how teams are going to play, don't you? After a few games, you see the model, that you see their formations, you see their little nuances of play, and I think we, albeit we only won yesterday, we've been through a stuttering season. We have, we've been on good runs and not so good runs, but we've been up and around it, and I think Bradford will come good, but these sides aren't used to probably being up there. But we're still early in the season. I think maybe last year's Birmingham performance, people automatically assume that teams are going to run away with things. Well, the financings aren't like Birmingham, and we've ultimately, like Eliss has said there, you don't look at league position because every game is an individual basis, and battles are there to be won. And if you don't win your battles, you're going to concede goals, as we found out yesterday when we conceded a good hit, from Ethan Wheatley, who I thought, to be fair to him, I know he scored the own goal, but I thought he'd done very, very well in the Northampton side, and you can see what probably Manchester United see in their young prospect.
So that's a G, in our A to Z this week. So we're talking goalkeepers before we get onto that. Now, we're not talking good ones because that's part of why they do the A to Z. So we thought we'd have a chat about dodgy ones. And who's the dodgiest you've seen over your time? I mean, Sheffield Wednesday fans, I'm sure, have been contacting Cardiff over the last number of weeks saying, please, can you take Hovarth back? So he's definitely going to go up in there for them. But Eliss, who's the worst guy between the sticks you've watched?
One immediately comes to my mind, but I can't put my finger on his name. Icelandic goalkeeper. If Jim wants to help me out, he was only here for the season on loan.
Oh, Runnarsson,
that's the boy. Yeah. I think every time he was in the middle, it was always just constant nerves in my gut. I don't know what he's doing now. I don't particularly care, but yeah, that's the one that immediately springs to mind in terms of dodgy goalkeepers for me.
Jamie, can you beat that?
I'm going to say someone that I believe was probably dodgy. He's had his moments of dodginess at every club, well, probably most of the clubs he's been at. Peter Enkelman cost us the FA Cup final with that drop catch, in my opinion. And I'm sure Birmingham fans will remember when he was in for a goal for Aston Villa and he air kicked the ball at St Andrews. So yeah, Peter Enkelman for me. Okay.
In the comments, any more from further back than that, let us know. Right, on to letter G then we go. Not sure if this is a tough one or not. Who would get into the A to Z of Cardiff City with the letter G? Open forum. Any ideas?
So I've got one which I think is predominantly because of his longevity, and I think one that Cardiff fans will probably remember for one individual moment. So I'll go with one individual moment, which was a clanger, but he got sent off for it, was Gabor Gypes. I think he rugby tackled the Leicester City striker as he was on his way through on goal, and he didn't do anything really for us. So Gabor Gypes would be that. And then my longevity one, I think, is Danny Gabardon.
Oh, yeah. The shouts, yeah. Eliss, you agree?
Yeah, Gabardon was one of mine. But I also got, the famous saying, never fall in love with a lone player. And he didn't do anything magnificent for us, but I think we all loved him and would like him to stay for longer, was Ryan Giles. Having him in the wing-back position, I think, especially in this team, he would have thrived. And then just a little shout-out to Dimi Gutas as well. We also all loved.
Great shouts. Who have they missed, though? And let us know, especially if you're an older Cardiff fan who can put us right on some of the bygone eras. Right, thank you very much, you two. Enjoy the game against Mansfield. We'll be back here 7 days' time to look back on that particular game and also move on to the letter H in our A to Z. Join us for that. Thank you very much for watching. Before you go, press that subscribe button. We want to get over 100 this week. That'd be absolutely amazing. Thank you very much. Have a great week, everyone. Cardiff are back on top.